In 1984, the city of Tampa, Florida, was gripped by panic as Bobby Joe Long, a notorious serial murderer, targeted young women. Lisa McVey, 17, became an unexpected hero in a narrative of survival and justice after becoming one of his victims. However, Lisa McVey was plunged into a nightmare abduction organized by none other than the legendary serial murderer Bobby Joe Long in the dark and foreboding year of 1984. What followed was a terrible survival story that became a symbol of resilience and fortitude in the face of unspeakable evil. McVey's capacity to communicate with her kidnapper, Bobby Joe Long, proved crucial. She humanized herself through a risky mind game, gently manipulating the circumstances to earn Long's trust. The turning point occurred when McVey, motivated by sheer willpower, negotiated her release. In doing so, she not only gained her release, but also obtained vital information that would help law enforcement authorities in their search for the serial murderer. Enduring the unthinkable, McVey's fast thinking was crucial in bringing Bobby Joe Long to prison, thus putting an end to his reign of terror. McVey's tale revolves around her unrelenting pursuit of justice in the aftermath of her kidnapping. Despite unspeakable suffering, her strength became a light of hope. Her path from victim to survivor stood as a monument to the human spirit's resilience in the face of adversity. Lisa McVey's life changed dramatically in the aftermath of her kidnapping, contradicting the typical trajectory of traumatization. Instead, she rose to prominence as a zealous advocate for victims, exhibiting an unshakable dedication to becoming a voice for those silenced by violence. McVey's unwavering commitment led her to a career in law enforcement, where she became a sheriff's deputy, marking a remarkable transformation from victim to protector. Her story goes beyond survival. It exemplifies the transformational power of resilience, transforming a horrific event into a chance for personal growth and constructive effect. McVey's decision to turn her suffering into advocacy is proof of the human potential to turn misfortune into a force for good. The dedication to protecting the safety of others, developed in the furnace of McVey's terrifying encounter, is a strong monument to the tenacious spirit that exists inside each of us. McVey's healing path not only liberated her from the constraints of her past, but it also catalyzed good change. Her tale is one of victory over sorrow, demonstrating the underlying strength that exists in every human, permitting them to rise above even the most difficult situations. McVey actively contributed to changing her life story by selecting the route of a sheriff's deputy. Her dedication to advocacy and protection became a light of hope for those who had been through similar ordeals. McVey's tale is an encouragement to people dealing with the consequences of trauma, showing the transforming ability of the human spirit to not only overcome hardship, but also to use those experiences as a strong force for healing and positive change. McVey's nightmare began when she found the warning signs that commonly accompany horrible crimes while diving deeper into the facts of that tragic night. While riding her bike through the dark and lonely streets, she observed a red automobile parked in front of a church, which struck her as strange. Ignoring her intuition, she continued, making a decision that would bring her into Bobby Joe Long's arms. The kidnapping was quick and ruthless. McVey was pulled from her bike and left at the mercy of a vicious monster. With a pistol to her head, she endured a night of horror that included being made to strip, being bound with ligatures around her wrists and ankles, and being tossed into a car. Assault and murder loomed enormously in the distance. McVey's tragedy prompted horrible recollections of previous abuse. She found herself in a familiar and terrifying situation after recalling her grandmother's lover holding a pistol to her head during years of molestation. McVey's coping technique, however, kicked in, allowing her to escape the present suffering by withdrawing to a mental zone of numbness. The ride in the abductor's automobile was cloaked in mystery, with McVey blindfolded and terrified. Nonetheless, her drive to live drove her to pay close attention to her surroundings, absorbing things that would later prove essential. The tipping point came when she managed to leave her fingerprints all over the automobile, quietly signaling her fight and presence as one of Long's victims. The abuse continued once McVey was inside an apartment complex where he was assaulted. Even amid this despair, she maintained a fortitude that would be crucial in her escape. Taking advantage of a toilet break, McVey intentionally left fingerprints, a subtle plea for aid. This, along with her deft manipulation of Long's emotions, contributed significantly to her ultimate release. The night's events led McVey to the brink of despair. She was blindfolded once more, anticipating her end, while Long drove her to an unknown destination. However, in an unexpected change of events, he abandoned her, allowing her the opportunity to remove her blindfold and flee. McVey's adventure did not finish there. When she arrived at the police station, she was met with mistrust by a detective who quenched her calm demeanor. McVey persevered, frustrated but determined, until her comprehensive descriptions and fingerprints convinced law authorities of the veracity of her story. Bobby Joe Long's subsequent investigation and arrest represented a critical turning point. McVey's bravery not only saved her own life, but also aided in the capture of a serial murderer guilty of horrible murders against other women. Long's bravery was recognized when she was charged with 9 charges of first-degree murder. Lisa McVey's life took an astonishing turn in the aftermath of her abduction, contradicting the typical story of traumatization. Rather than allowing the darkness to define her, McVey rose to become a light of hope for those who had experienced similar atrocities. Her life's purpose changed dramatically when she decided to devote herself to law enforcement, becoming a sheriff's deputy. This verdict emphasized the transforming power of resilience, highlighting McVey as a live example of the indomitable human spirit. McVey's dedication to becoming a voice for the voiceless became a remarkable monument to the human spirit's ability to overcome hardship and turn tragedy into victory. Her journey transcended personal survival to become a story of tenacity, progress, and a never-ending search for justice. McVey's decision to become a law enforcement officer was a deliberate choice to be a force for good, symbolizing the possibilities for positive development even in the aftermath of the worst events. Assuming the position of a guardian, McVey took on the responsibility of preserving the safety of others. Motivated by a deep grasp of the consequences of violence, her ordeal acted as a catalyst for good transformation, driving her to protect others from suffering the same horrors she did. McVey became a living embodiment of change through her persistent dedication to advocacy and protection, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, people have the fortitude to emerge into the light. McVey's strong empathy and awareness of the severe impacts of violence spurred her determination to prevent others from experiencing similar tragedies in her new profession. Her dedication moved beyond personal rehabilitation to become a purpose to make a good difference in the world around her. McVey's story is a living testament to the human ability for perseverance and progress, demonstrating that even in the face of insurmountable adversity, there is an underlying power that can be used for the greater good. Lisa McVey's journey from survivor to champion illustrates the incredible strength that exists inside people, overcoming the darkest regions of life. Her life story is an encouragement to those who are traversing their pathways of recovery and development. McVey's story represents the essence of purpose, demonstrating that even in the aftermath of great misfortune, one can find the courage to not only recover, but also to positively contribute to the world and become a light of hope for others. Her narrative exemplifies the human ability for resilience, growth, and the quest for justice. Lisa McVey, a survivor turned advocate, illustrates the tremendous strength that exists inside people, emerging from the darkest depths of existence to live a life of purpose, healing, and good influence. Moreover, Lisa channeled her energies after her horrible experiences towards saving others from going through similar ordeals. She has worked as a school resource officer for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for over 2 decades. Lisa shares her tale of resilience with kids who may be suffering, detailing her path from abandonment and abduction to becoming a police officer. She conveys a significant message through her role. Misfortune does not determine one's path, and courage may lead to a meaningful life. As we conclude Lisa McVey's remarkable story of resilience, consider this. How can one person's strength inspire positive change in the face of life's darkest challenges? Well, that's it for now. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, do like and subscribe to our channel.